LEIGHTDICKEY.com. Do you have an event or occasion coming up that could use a special touch? Perhaps a wedding, a production, a show? Good! Then you're in luck. Hayley Moores is who you're looking for. Hayley is a makeup artist in the Toronto, Ontario area, specializing in bridal, glam, natural, and special effects. She's incredibly talented, professional, easy to work with, and has a personality that is second to none. To book Hayley Moores today, follow her on Instagram at mad_milash, that's MAD_MILASH, or email her at madmilash, again, that's MADMILASH @gmail.com. Book Hayley Moores today, you'll be glad you did. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. Do you find yourself reminiscing on what life was like when you were younger? Do your favorite songs, movies, and TV shows instantly take you back to a simpler time? Great! Then you're in the right place. Join me, Leigh Dickey, on my new web series and podcast, Yo Nostalgia, where I cover everything you grew up with. From films and toys to fads and trends, Yo Nostalgia has it all. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever podcasts are available. Follow along on social media at Yo Nostalgia Show to keep up on this time-traveling trip. Yo Nostalgia, breathing new life into your memories, available everywhere now. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. Do you enjoy good conversation? Are you a person with many passions? Perfect. Then the Beats and Speaks podcast is for you. Join me, Leigh Dickey, every Friday for stories and interviews about everyday life with everyday people about everyday things. Everyone has a story, and I just want to help them tell it. The Beats and Speaks podcast, your everyday life, everyday stories, everyday people, comedy and entertainment audio joyride. Subscribe and download on LEIGHTDICKEY.com, Leigh Dickey TV on YouTube, and your favorite podcast app. The Beats and Speaks podcast, available everywhere now. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. What's going on, everybody? Leigh Dickey here. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. Today, this week, I want to tell you about accidentally shaving off my mustache, not once, but twice. But before we get into the main event, before we get into this hair-raising, let's accidentally shave off your mustache, Leigh, episode on the Beats and Speaks podcast this week, I want to tell you where you can find the Beats and Speaks podcast. Of course, new episodes of the Beats and Speaks podcast are released every single Friday on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, my official website, LEIGHTDICKEY.com. We're on YouTube as well under Leigh Dickey TV, and wherever podcasts are available. So please do comment, like, share, and subscribe. Rate us 5 stars and leave us reviews too if you would, please. And thank you. To follow along with me and the show, please do follow at Leigh T. Dickey on social media. Send your comments, questions, guest requests, topic requests to LeighTDickey@gmail.com. Get in touch with me and the show by emailing LeighTDickey@gmail.com. And of course, we're on social media at Leigh T. Dickey. All the information is down in the description below. Thank you all very, very much for tuning in this week. But let's get into the main event, get into why you are really here, and that is the story or stories of me accidentally shaving off my mustache, not once, but twice, right here on a brand new episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast right now. Alright, so yes, accidentally shaving off my mustache. This is part of the Life with Beard sort of mini set of episodes that I have going on right here on the Beats and Speaks podcast. So accidentally shaving off my mustache, not once, but twice. So, the first time it happened was at the end of 2019. It was legitimately right after Christmas. It was probably like the 28th of December, where I was just, to be fair, I wanted to trim it up. I wanted to get it to fit more snugly against my face. I didn't want the hair to just hang over, my top lip. And to be honest, I've only had the beard. By the time you guys listen to this, it will probably be about September, maybe October. I'm actually recording this in June, so, by the time you hear it, I will have had a beard for probably like 13 or 14 months, somewhere in there. But, the first time I tried to trim my mustache with a beard trimmer, without the guard on, I think that was part of actually, the first time I tried it, I had the guard on, but I took too much off, and instead of going straight up on my mustache to take off the hair, my hand slipped and it went off to the left, and it took off way too much on the side of my mustache. So I just decided to basically take it all off and wait for it to grow back. When you do that at the end of the year, so December, it's fairly cold here in Toronto, Canada. And, winter is a thing because it lasts in Canada probably 10 months out of the year. We don't get a break. Summer lasts 5 minutes and what have you. But when, I did that and accidentally took too much off, I was like, well, okay, I'm going to look stupid if I don't do anything about it. So I might as well just take the mustache off, wait for it to grow back, and hope that I never do that again. So when that happened the first time, I was like, okay, lesson learned, no biggie, right? But it was so cold. I didn't realize until I accidentally shaved off my mustache, or like legitimately had shaved too much off and then had to take the rest off, that a mustache or a beard, facial hair, is like almost kind of like male insulation for your face. Like, you don't need a scarf, you don't need, say, like a balaclava to put over your face in most instances, because the facial hair itself acts as natural sort of like insulation against the elements, against the cold that we experience here in Canada. But when I accidentally shaved it off, it was gone, and I was instantly super cold. Like, yes, I still had like the area under my chin and around my cheeks, but my mustache was gone completely. And I'd made a mistake, and then I just took too much off and had to shave it. Or else, like, what am I going to do? You're going to have like sort of half of it's, half my upper lip's going to have hair, the other half it's going to be just bald, right? And I was just like, okay, that's going to look stupid if I don't even try to even it out. So I just decided that it was a good idea for me to take it off. And I did. And for something like 4 to 6 weeks, because that's how long it took to grow back, I had to wait. Obviously, you had to exercise patience, and I had to wait for it to grow back. It took like 4 to 6 weeks. That was the longest 4 to 6 weeks of my life. I'm finding that now because, as I said in the intro, I've accidentally shaved off my mustache twice. So I'm finding that like this 4 to 6 week waiting period for my mustache to grow back, if I accidentally shave it off, it tests my patience. But you know what? It's 4 to 6 weeks, no big deal, not that long, fine, whatever, deal with it. But, doing it in the winter, I was just kind of like, oh, brother, what did I do? What did I step in? It sucked. It hurt. But, I waited for it to grow back. It is what it is. It was what it was. And thankfully, it did grow back. And I vowed then to never do it again. Yet, I did it again in the middle of May. Accidentally. What happened was I had just figured out how to trim my beard through the magic of a YouTube video. Somebody that actually, has more experience with a beard than I do, because I would still consider myself a rookie, say, and like I've never had to really worry about facial hair in any respects. I mean, the most facial hair I've had before I grew the beard out was a mustache and a soul patch, and that was it. And even then, the mustache kind of bugged me, so I just shaved it off the first time, and that was when I was like 20 and kept it off. Not to mention, like, when I started working in, say, media, like radio, television, things like that, they didn't really take too kindly to the fact that I had like a mustache and a soul patch, and it was just, I was constantly fighting an uphill battle. So I just decided to, okay, fine, I'll just shave it off, no big deal, because they're really starting to bug me. So I, like, my the people that I had to answer to, my bosses, were just starting to bug me when it came to like having the facial hair. So I just shaved it off. Fine, whatever, no big deal. You know, and I didn't think about having facial hair again until I was like 30, which was like this past year. And I just decided to grow it because why not? And, you know, to be fair, I'm going to keep the beard. I'm going to keep the mustache. I'm going to keep any facial hair that I have. I really actually enjoy having a beard and facial hair and things like that. People are like, oh, it suits you. My neighbors are, oh, it suits you. It looks good, yada, yada, yada. I have old friends telling me the same thing. My mom really enjoys it. Fine, I will keep it. You guys win. I am keeping the beard. I am keeping my Richard Karn Al Borland-ness for you for the foreseeable future. I don't intend on ever getting rid of it again. Although I will probably pick up a few more tips and tricks along the way, because when it comes to trimming this thing, I could still use some tips and tricks. So if anybody has more experience with facial hair and would like to drop, tips, tricks, and hints and what have you in terms of like trimming this thing or maintaining it, let me know in the comments or send me an email at LEIGHTDICKEY@gmail.com or follow along on social media at LEIGHTDICKEY and we can connect there. Thank you. But I just, the first time I did it was the middle of winter. It was super cold, it sucked, it hurt, and then I realized that facial hair was basically male, like a natural form of male insulation for your face. No scarf needed, not a balaclava. It was naturally warm. I could get away with just wearing a toque and gloves, or a cap, hat, and gloves for those that don't know what a toque is. It's basically just a warm hat that you wear in the winter to cover your ears and keep yourself warm. So, in addition to like the hat and gloves, the only thing I needed was the beard. I didn't need a scarf. I didn't need anything else other than the gloves and a hat in the winter. But accidentally shaving off my mustache, I was just kind of like, oh, you're instantly cold because it hits you, right? Because there's nothing there. Once the mustache is gone, there's nothing on your upper lip, or there was nothing on my upper lip. And I was just kind of like, all right, this is going to be the longest month to month and a half of my life. I don't ever want to shave it off ever again. The second time I accidentally shaved off my mustache. Now, I took too much off when I went to trim it the first time back at the end of 2019. But when it came to, say, this past time in May, when I accidentally did it, I was trying to take the length out, and then I realized that I took way too much off. I didn't have a guard on. This time is where, the first time I did it back in December, I actually had a guard on, and there was just a miscommunication between my hands and the rest of my actions. So, I didn't have the guard on this time, so that one's completely on me, and it just took too much off. I wanted to take some of the length out, and just miscommunicate yet again, a bit of a misstep, and I had to let it grow back again because I took too much off, and then it would look weird because it's like half my upper lip has hair, the other half doesn't, and it just looks lopsided. So let's just take the whole thing off, wait for it all to grow back. Thankfully, after 4 to 6 weeks, at the time of recording, it's been about 4 weeks since I did it, or just under 4 weeks exactly, like probably 26 days since I accidentally shaved it off. I have trimmed the beard since accidentally shaving it off the second time, just to take some of the length out to make it look a little cleaner. But, if I need to trim the mustache again, I have a pair of beard shears or mustache scissors that I can just run along my upper lip if I need to. This isn't one of those, like, let's get a pinpoint kind of, like, right up against the lip so there's, like, very little hair. I don't need something that looks like it's glued to my face. I'd actually like something that looks a bit more natural. So I think we're just going to use the beard shears or beard scissors from now on, because I can't go wrong with that. And I don't know about, taking a trimmer to my mustache ever again that aren't my beard or that aren't like beard scissors or beard shears. So we're going with scissors from now on when it comes to like my upper lip. But when it comes to like, say, the rest of the beard, I can take the trimmer to it and just invert the thing and not take too much off. Like, just take the flyaways or the ones that are just kind of like scraggly and kind of like, not well kept and a bit disjointed. take those off and it looks cleaner, it looks neater, and that's what we all want as guys with beards or what have you, facial hair. I'm realizing that like I could probably take some of the length out of my soul patch a little bit, and I did this time. So I might, I'll let that grow back a little bit, but probably not to the length that it was before. There was a lot of it on the soul patch, and even, my chin, there was a bit much. It was like down to almost to about my Adam's apple, and it was just, not that it's not cool to have it that long, but it doesn't look all that neat, and I want to keep myself as neat and clean as humanly possible. But there are the two stories, or a couple instances where I accidentally shaved off my mustache. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Please do comment, like, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app and player of choice, as well as my official website, LEIGHTDICKEY.com. All information is available at LEIGHTDICKEY.com. Links down in the description. Thank you all again for listening, tuning in this week. Please do comment, like, share, and subscribe. Find us on your favorite podcast app and player of choice. We're on YouTube as well under Leigh Dickey TV, so please do comment, like, share, and subscribe there as well. Follow along on social media at LEIGHTDICKEY. Send your comments, questions, guest requests, topic requests, and anything else to LEIGHTDICKEY@gmail.com. Let's get in touch with each other, go back and forth, things like that, all the good stuff. Thanks again for listening. Thanks again for tuning in. But I've been Leigh Dickey. This has been another episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. This wraps it up. Thanks again. We'll see you all next week. Have a great one. Talk to you soon. Peace. LEIGHTDICKEY.com